Wow, this is a pretty special truck. This is a 2025 Ford F-250 Platinum Plus. It's a brand new luxurious trim for this model. This truck combines almost everything into one. I mean, it's a luxury vehicle. It's quite expensive. This one costs over $108,000. It combines off-road capability, also lots of payload, lots of trailer towing capability. But in this video, I want to see what is it like to off-road this giant beast at the Ironclads trail here in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. So let's air down the tires and let's tackle it. This is a heavy-duty truck, an F-250. As such, I'm gonna air down all four tires to around about 35 PSI, because they're currently at about 70 or 75 PSI. So I'm gonna see, it should improve the ride quality quite a lot. So I'm gonna see how that works. All right, it's time to climb up towards the Ironclads. So before we actually get to Ironclads, I'm gonna go to 4 low. See how easy this is. I just went to neutral. It says 4x4 shift in progress. It gave me a message. Everything is good. We're mostly aired down. And then here, it shows me the camera of the front with the direction of where my tires are pointing. So that's really cool. And then I can also, of course, use my locking differential if I needed it, or put it in rock crawl mode, which I will do on Razor Rocks. So normally I would not start the video laying down, but this Platinum Plus version of the F-250 Tremor basically has every feature, including max reclining seats. And for that much money, I guess it's a really great feature. First of all, you could use this truck to tow something cross-country, and you could rest in your truck. Or if your wife kicked you out because you just bought a very luxurious truck, you could also sleep in it as well. Then, this has the new smoked truffle interior that includes all the different touches, luxurious leather, the split center console with some wood inserts, leather-wrapped steering wheel, leather-wrapped grab handles. I mean, it's got leather, I think, pretty much everywhere, and very luxurious. Even the headliner is really nice and luxe. So I have a couple more thoughts about the interior. I also want to show you my fuel economy I'm getting in this truck, because I daily drove it yesterday back home and to work as well. So first of all, I love overall this interior. I think the color scheme is right, the materials feel premium. You have a lot of features. You have wireless charging as well, 4 cup holders. I mean, this is not a new feature, but it's been around. But I have one issue with this interior. So there used to be a lot more buttons up here, and I kind of like having more controls kind of easily available. But Ford, for some reason, moved the camera button and the traction control button and also the hazards right here into the radio control area. So sometimes that, in my opinion, that's kind of hard to find, because you're looking for a camera view, like going off-road, but you have to look down instead of kind of looking up a little bit on the dash. So I'm not in love with that. Also, check it out. My efficiency, I drove, here we go, about 50 miles, that's my commute, and I got about 17 mpg. On the highway, I was seeing about 20 to 21 mpg, but because I'm idling over here and I was driving through the city, it dropped a bit as well. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this efficiency. So something like 20 or 21, maybe 21 and a half on the highway versus like about 17 in the city. I think that's a really good result. Now, I also want to show you something in the bed. So here's another way you know that this truck is very premium and also luxurious and expensive, because of this applique. It says platinum, and you could also do your hair, I guess, back here. Very reflective. But I also learned something about the kind of electrical architecture of this truck. Let me show you what I mean. So first of all, this also comes with this roll-up rolling tonneau cover. This does have also a gooseneck hitch. You can see that in the bed. It has trailer wiring over here. So it has a lot of features. So you can tow your fifth wheel, you could tow your gooseneck trailer, hook up very easily, including your camera hookups in here. And you can add some tie downs, you have lights, all those features are here. But I want to make sure this truck didn't lose its affordability. The Tremor Super Duty is not new. It came out several years back. Now it's updated in this latest iteration for 2023. You could also get it, of course, with the new styling change to that year, and also the high output 500 horsepower Power Stroke V8 turbo diesel is also in this truck, 1,200 pound-feet of torque. So what I did just now is I put it in four-wheel drive low, I enabled rock crawl mode, and I have my rear locking differential enabled. And actually that was enabled when I chose the rock crawl mode. Let me turn on my lights, my cameras. This truck is super tall, has a lot of ground clearance. It also has that front chin spoiler that's a little bit trimmed, so I have a better approach angle. I'm basically rolling on 35s from the factory. Let me turn off my proximity sensors. And these are Goodyear Wrangler tires. But this truck is quite heavy. I mean, it does have almost, 2,800 pounds of payload capacity, which is still great for a luxurious truck. But it weighs over 8,000 pounds. So it's kind of a big beast. First obstacle, the steps, no problem. But, oh boy, Razor Rocks. That could be an issue because it's really washed out. I may need Mary. Mary is my videographer today. I may need her help to actually line up and make sure I don't damage anything. Hey, Mary.
Yeah.
When I approach, can you make sure my bumper is not hitting?
Yeah.
So now, approaching the Razor Rock. This is basically the one of the more difficult obstacles on this trail. Okay, let me scooch over this way. I definitely don't want to hit anything on this expensive truck. Is my tire gonna start climbing?
Yeah.
Is that okay? All right. So I want to see how this truck behaves. Woo-hoo-hoo. So here's the thing about airing down. I went to about 37 PSI here on most of my tires. It spreads the tire patch a little bit out, so you have more grip. It also reduces my overall clearance by a little bit. But I think I have so much clearance that it may not be super bad. Hold on, there's a tree next to me. Let me see if I can start climbing very, very slowly. I do have skid plates. This truck also has axle breathing tubes that should give it superior or additional water fording capability. Oh wow, I'm a little bit hung up. Let me see if I can bump it. Oh boy. I don't think I have any room to back up. Do I have any room to back up?
No, there's a tree stump.
Okay. You could hear that turbo. Let's go! Yes! Carrying what, 8,100 pounds over an obstacle like this with inches to spare. I was a little bit worried. So I think a couple of things happened. I had pretty good traction. because of I air down. A little bit better comfort too, because the tire is a little bit more squishy. I could also have a little bit more comfort. The turning radius of this truck is still kind of an issue because it's a heavy duty that's really humongous. So that's why, I mean, usually you don't see heavy duty trucks doing very difficult trails, is because, well, for many reasons. Let me actually line up for this obstacle. But turning radius and size is a big thing, because visibility could be an issue, although these cameras help me out a lot. Visibility could be an issue, maneuverability can be an issue, weight is an issue. So that's why you don't see a lot of these trucks on difficult trails like this. But when you spend this much money for a luxurious truck like this, you want it to do everything, but it doesn't have a winch. I need to explain that. A winch is an option, but it's a little bit more complex, so I need to explain that to you. So, this truck comes with a 2 kilowatt system, so 2,000 watts right there, 120 volts, 20 amps. So that's really good, and I'm really glad that Ford is also adding this system. But because of how much power this puts out, it can limit what options you could put on this truck, because you could also order, what is it, a $4,000 winch option on this truck in the front bumper, but you cannot have both. This plug and also a winch, just depending on the inverter system and the battery system under the hood, because this is not a hybrid, this is still just a diesel truck. So you cannot have both, which is kind of a bummer. Yeah, basically the winch would be in this area, and Ford actually designs it so the winch is not sticking out of the bumper, but it's actually integrated inside, even for diesels. But this particular one, the way it's configured, doesn't have it. I have to be really careful coming down on Razor Rocks because am I touching my side? Okay, so still have enough ground clearance. I do have mud flaps, which is a little bit helpful. I mean, I don't want to throw rocks at people behind me while driving on the highway, but they also can get a little bit bent when you're off-roading like this. Wow, this airing down makes this truck a lot more comfortable on terrain like this. I'm not out of the woods yet. I gotta come down the steps. 4 low. Oh, I haven't even used trail turn assist, which there's a feature where it can break one of the tires. I just didn't have an opportunity. Usually you don't want to do it on sharp rocks because you could tear up tires. But if you were in the sandy area, it's a nice feature to make this truck a little bit more maneuverable than it otherwise would be. Wow, I'm impressed. Maybe I touched what, one skid plate on the way up, Razor Rocks, and a tiny bit of a side step on the way down. And otherwise, you know, I can turn on my ventilated seat, massage, I can recline again when I stop and take a nap. So this is also a home, it's an office, it's a towing rig with what, just over 20,000 pounds of towing capability, and it's an off-roader. Wow, that's quite impressive.
Okay, great. Good job.
Wow, how was that hike?
It was wet.
All right, so the big Tremor is airing up behind me, and I want to answer the question I asked in the beginning of this video. Is a luxurious truck like this still any good off-road? And the answer is yes. But you also don't have to spend $108,500 on a truck like this. You can buy a more simple one, like an XLT Ford F-250 Tremor with a gas V8 7.3 liter engine, and that truck could run you somewhere around 66 to 68,000, so under 70 grand for that. But if you want a big high output diesel, that will cost you almost $13,000 just for the engine. And then if you want the Platinum or the Platinum Plus, and the Platinum Plus comes with all the interior features I talked about, but some other benefits. For example, you can have a guided tour of your truck. You can have a truck expert from Ford on text, so you can ask them questions anytime you want. You get notices of events happening, so there's some other premium benefits to the price of this particular Platinum Plus F-250. And they also have F-350 Tremors as well. So if you want a little bit more capability as far as payload is concerned, you can go with an F-350 as well. Well, let me know what you think in the comments below. I was pretty impressed about this heavy truck climbing those rocks. And as always, I'll see you next time at oldtfl.com. I want an analogy for what this truck really is like, and I think I came up with something. Imagine just a big Mr. Olympia bodybuilder wearing a tuxedo, smoked truffle tuxedo. I think that's what this truck is like. It's got the payload, it's got the strength and affordability, but it's also dressed up.